角束
Noroi.
さっきなんか映像がおかしくなったんですけど。
Welcome back to the 13th annual Halloween special. Hope you guys are having a great time. I am very excited about tonight's movie because this is the last film that I have never reviewed that inspired my film, Shelby Oaks, and that is Noroi. The film is sometimes called Noroi the Curse. I've definitely called it that before, and I just call it Noroi now because that word essentially means curse, and so it's kind of like saying curse the curse, and it's just weird. Why would you say that? It's stupid. Here, a prominent paranormal journalist, Kobayashi, goes missing shortly after completing a documentary. What begins as an investigation into strange noises soon evolves into the chilling mystery of a demonic entity named Kabutaba. So as I already stated, this film greatly inspired me when I was writing Shelby Oaks. This film alongside Lake Mungo are my two biggest inspirations for that film. I watched those movies quite a bit and really came to love them. I've said that Lake Mungo is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, and people process that differently. The way to get to someone's fear and that emotional state can be different for everybody. But for me, that film absolutely terrified me and made me feel genuine fear. And I say all that while also saying that I think Noroi is even scarier. There is something about the mockumentary or the mock doc that you just can't replicate in traditional narrative storytelling. It is something that is so visceral and is able to achieve a heightened state of realism that most movies are unable to do. I recommend this movie to a lot of people in person, and I am always blown away how many people have never seen it. And so for that reason, I'm going to avoid spoilers. This will be a spoiler-free video because I'm going to assume that a lot of you haven't seen it. Many people over the years have come up to me and told me they watched Lake Mungo because of my video, and I would love if this video can do that for you. If you've never seen Noroi, you really should. It is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, and it was so inspirational for me. Something that separates Noroi from most mock docs is the usage of so many different sources. Of course, you're following Kobayashi as he goes and interviews people. You're watching the footage that he shot, but you're also seeing things that are on television, like variety shows. You're seeing a girl who is being studied for potentially being a psychic. She's able to create water from nowhere. They're testing this water, and they're discovering that it has trace elements of things that might mean that it's from a body of water, like a river or a lake. This is definitely very unique in that Noroi uses things like variety shows on TV or public broadcasts of certain events to tell its story. And that variety show sequence in particular is absolutely brilliant and feels completely authentic. There's also a sequence where these paranormal investigators are searching through the woods and they find one tree that is dead and that won't bloom anymore. And just in this one spot. That is so creepy, man. I love this movie. This is such a perfect spooky season movie. And those creepy vibes alongside Lake Mungo, that feeling of eerie suspense that you're watching something that's making you feel uncomfortable or unsettled. Movies like that are the ones that do tend to make me feel fear. Films like Mothman Prophecies pulled that off too, where you're just feeling very strange. Those kinds of horror films are few and far between. There are also sequences here that feel like a precursor to Paranormal Activity, because this is a 2005 film, so it came out before that film as well as Lake Mungo, and we see a young woman who sets up a camera filming herself while she's asleep because strange things are going on in her apartment and she wants to see if she can capture some of it. And I'm thinking to myself, just how many movies did Noroi actually inspire? There's also a super scary ritual sequence from 1978, and it provides a really eerie backstory. There's leftover villages in this town now in the present who know of a supposed demonic legend and are terrified of it and not wanting to talk about it at all. And it builds so much tension. And these villagers in modern times are even maintaining things that are supposedly supposed to ward this demonic entity away, even in the present, like hanging a sickle over their door. One of the reasons this scares me is all of us, I think, are raised to believe certain things, and then at some point in our lives, we're like, you know what? I don't think that was real. Whether it's Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or something more sinister than that. But these villagers, as adults, and they're like elderly adults, still believe this thing will get them unless they follow specific customs. And I think the idea of a really terrified older person who has been through life, who has seen so much, who has seen war and famine and all kinds of terrible things, still as a 70 or 80-year-old believing the boogeyman will get them, really is terrifying. What's also so wonderful about how uneasy this makes me feel is how I don't really understand what's going on. And we're not supposed to yet, which is great. But it's the confusion that I'm feeling and the sense of disorientation that is making me feel so scared. It's just about 2 hours long, which is actually fairly lengthy for a mockumentary. And sometimes you do feel that runtime. There's some story covered here that maybe could be covered a little faster. But it's so rich with backstory that going back to certain characters again and learning new things just feels exciting. It's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not used to a mockumentary film being that length. Usually 80 or 90 feels pretty good. But this film does sustain its tension throughout. And every single time I watch it, I get goosebumps and chills at certain moments. It's a phenomenal film if you've never seen it. It is highly worth the watch and very, very perfect for this time of year. I do hope you watch Noroi because it is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like I said, it inspired my film Shelby Oaks, which comes out October 24th in theaters. Please support us. We are a small indie movie. You've probably heard a lot about us, but we are an indie movie that was not made for a lot of money, and the only way that Hollywood will notice or pay attention to a movie like that is if people go and see it in the movie theaters. So please do that for us. It'll really change things if they see that a YouTuber from Ohio was able to do something like that and that you guys made your voices known and went to the theater and saw it. It would just be a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I hope that you guys enjoy the film when you see it, but also know that Noroi is a very inspirational movie for not just me, but for many filmmakers. So definitely check this one out, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for continuing to watch the 13th annual Halloween special. We'll have more videos coming for you very soon. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.